Okay, so today we're taking a really fascinating detour into car design.
Sounds good.
We're diving deep into the Renault R17 Restomod. It's this concept car, and it's causing quite a stir, you know?
Right, taking a 70s icon and making it electric. It's a bold move.
Exactly, that classic coupe shape, but zapped with modern electric power. Kind of unexpected.
Definitely.
In our sources, we've got Calpurnia and an article from alvolante.it. They give us a pretty good look at the how and why.
Yeah, they lay out the thinking behind it.
So our mission really is to figure out how you take a beloved classic and sort of reimagine it for today, for the electric age, especially using this idea they call simplexity.
Simplexity, yeah. It's key to understanding the design approach here.
I'm really keen to get under the skin of this one. It feels like a real blast from the past, but, looking straight at the future.
It's definitely more than just a pretty face, isn't it? This R17 Restomod makes you think, like, how do we connect with car history when everything's changing so fast?
Good point. So maybe we start with the original.
Yeah, absolutely. To really get this new one, you need to know the original Renault 17. It was a front-wheel drive, coupe, longitudinal engine, fuel-injected.
Quite typical for the time.
Yeah, produced from 71 to 79. And it did pretty well, over 92,000 sold.
Wow, okay.
And what's really interesting about this Restomod is that it's not just inspired by the old one. It actually uses the original car's, well, its bones.
Like the actual structure.
Exactly. The cabin structure, the doors, windows, the glass, even some trim, and the underlying technical surfaces. So even though it looks super modern in many ways, it's genuinely rooted in that original car. It has that heritage built right in.
Okay, right. So you got this iconic shape as the foundation.
Mm-hmm.
But looking at the pictures, the Restomod's exterior is, well, it's definitely been modernized.
Oh, for sure.
You see the family resemblance clearly, but it's like the R17 went to a very, very good tailor and got maybe some muscles.
Huh, yeah, something like that.
The paint, that galactic brown, that feels like a nice nod to the 70s.
Honestly, it does, fits the era. But then you see the lights.
Yeah, the classic round headlights are gone. Instead, you've got these super thin, yellowish LED projectors. They look almost, I don't know, sci-fi.
The very futuristic touch, yeah. And then there's the width.
Oh, yeah, talk about that. They widen the whole body.
By 17 centimeters. That's quite a bit.
Oh, okay. So what does that do visually?
Well, combined with the wider fenders and wheels, it gives it this much more aggressive stance, more planted. Some people say it looks almost like a Group B rally car.
I can see that. It's this amazing mix, isn't it? That retro shape, but with this modern, purposeful width. What do you make of that widening? Does it work?
Well, I think it's fascinating. It definitely brings the look into the 21st century, gives it that substantial feel people expect now.
Right.
But, you could ask, does adding that much width maybe change the original elegance of the R17's lines a bit too much?
That's a fair question.
It's a balance, isn't it? They kept the overall silhouette, which is obviously crucial for the nostalgia. But the wider track probably helps handling stability.
Which you'd want with an electric powertrain.
Exactly. So it lines up with modern performance ideas, even for an UV. It's sort of a visual statement about connecting those two different times.
Absolutely. And that balancing act, it carries on inside, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. The interior is quite something.
Stepping in, you get this really cool blend of vintage reminders and very modern luxury.
Like the steering wheel.
Yeah. That two-spoke wheel, but with these fabric bits on it. Unexpected.
Yeah.
And wood trim on the dash that screams 70s.
Definitely.
But then, bang, right in front of you.
Yeah.
4 digital dials. They look like they're inspired by the original gauges, but they're fully digital.
A modern interpretation.
And the seats. They look completely different. They call them pedal structured, almost like sculptures.
And the materials they used.
Right. Merino wool, light boot clay.
Yeah.
The sources also mention Razzo and Lana. Sounds incredibly tactile, very high-end.
It suggests real comfort, like the original R17 was known for, but updated with this almost furniture design kind of feel. Very refined.
So that mix of materials and tech inside. What's the message there? What was the designer trying to do, you think?
I think the interior really nails that simplexity idea we mentioned earlier.
How so?
Well, it's about remembering the past, but not being sort of stuck in it. Using fancy, sustainable stuff like merino wool, that's a very now idea of luxury, right? Totally different from the vinyl or basic cloth you might have found back then.
Sure.
And putting modern digital dials inside a shape that echoes the old dashboard. It integrates the old and new really smoothly. It feels like they wanted a space that's, familiar, but also totally current.
Makes sense.
And if you look at other high-end Restomods, this focus on a really plush, comfortable cabin alongside the new tech, that's a pretty common theme.
Okay, so we've got this beautifully updated classic, inside and out. Now let's talk powertrain.
Yeah.
The big change, right?
The elephant not in the room, maybe? The engine.
Huh. Exactly. The original 1.6-liter combustion engine is gone. Poof.
Replaced by an electric motor. Rear-mounted, interestingly.
And putting out, what was it, 270 CV? That's pretty punchy.
Decent power, yeah. It's a total shift in the car's character, obviously.
And to handle that and maybe make it feel more modern to drive, they used a carbon fiber chassis.
Right. Which helps bring the weight down significantly. Only 1,400 kilograms, which is surprisingly light for an EV with decent power.
Wow, 1,400 kilograms. That really jumps out. Shows what modern materials can do, keeping the classic shape, but allowing for that performance.
Yeah.
So how would that electric power and the carbon fiber change how it drives compared to the old R17?
Oh, fundamentally, a completely different experience. You'd get that instant electric torque, much quicker acceleration than the old 1.6-liter could ever manage.
So nappy.
Yeah, and the lower weight from the carbon chassis should make it feel much more agile, better handling. You're going from a 1970s driving feel to something very much like a modern performance EV.
It does make you think, though. When you replace the heart of the car, the engine, is it still preserving the classic? Or is it something new entirely?
That's the big question with Restomods, isn't it? Which brings us back to that design philosophy you mentioned.
Right, Ora Ïto's concept of complexity.
Exactly.
So, as he apparently describes it, it's about simplifying the complex stuff to get a design that feels fluid and contemporary. Is that the gist?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. The idea wasn't just, let's electrify an old car. It was about keeping that iconic R17 character, the thing you recognize instantly, but blending in the modern tech so it feels natural, not forced. Making the complexity of mixing old design and new EV stuff feel, well, simple, easy.
Can you point to specific bits in the design where that simplicity really comes through?
I think so. Look at the lights again, the exterior ones.
The thin LEDs.
Right. Technologically, they're miles ahead of the old round-sealed beams, but the way they're shaped and placed, they still somehow suggest the feel of the original car's front end, without just copying it.
Okay, I see that. Modern tech, but presented cleanly, respecting the past.
That's simplicity. Or, inside those digital dials, they kept the 4-gauge layout like the original, so it feels familiar, but it delivers modern info.
So it's smart choices that make it easy to understand and use, but still feel connected to the original car.
Precisely. Clarity and ease while respecting the heritage.
Now, I gotta ask, for anyone listening who's maybe fallen in love with this thing, can they actually buy one?
Well, that's the kicker.
Oh.
Despite showing up at fancy places like the Chantilly Concours d'Elegance in 2024 and the Paris Motor Show, this R17 Restomod is strictly a concept car for now.
Okay. No plans for production, though?
No plans announced. It's more of a design study, an exploration of what's possible, not something heading to dealerships anytime soon, unfortunately.
Right. So what's the point then? Why does Renault build and show off something like this if they're not going to sell it?
Well, concept cars are super important for manufacturers. They let them try out new design directions, test new tech, see how the public reacts.
Without committing millions to production.
Exactly. For this R17, it feels like Renault making a statement, doesn't it? About their history, showing how those old designs can be, reimagined for an electric future. It sparks conversation, shows off what their designers and engineers can do.
Okay, that makes sense. So for our listeners, folks interested in getting up to speed quickly, what's the main takeaway from this deep dive on the R17 Restomod? For me, it really shows how tradition and innovation, they don't have to be enemies. They can actually work together, make each other better. It shows we don't need to ditch all the classic designs we love just because we're moving to EVs.
I agree.
They can be, creatively reinterpreted.
Yeah.
But what about the bigger picture? Is this Restomodding trend just a niche thing for collectors, or does it mean something more for how we think about cars generally?
That's a great question. I think it points to something deeper, this growing realization that our connection to cars, it's emotional, right? It's not just about getting from A to B.
Sure.
Classic designs, they trigger feelings, memories, and electric Restomods, they offer a way to kind of tap into that emotion while still embracing cleaner transport.
So best of both worlds, maybe?
Potentially. It does raise interesting questions, though, like what is a classic car when it has an electric motor? How do we preserve automotive history in this new era?
It's definitely a trend to watch. It really sits at that crossroads of our nostalgia and the future of driving.
So just to wrap things up, the Renault R17 Restomod, it's really this compelling mashup of 70s cool and modern EV tech, guided by that complexity idea.
Right.
And yeah, it's a concept, but it gives us a peek at how car makers might revisit their greatest hits for an electric world, which leaves us and you listening with maybe a provocative thought.
Go on.
What does this specific car, this electric R17, tell us about how our relationship with car history is changing as technology leaps forward? Is it, a respectful nod to the past? Or is it something more radical, charting a totally new path?
That's a really interesting question to chew on. A brilliant point to ponder. Thank you for unpacking this really intriguing vehicle with us today.
My pleasure.
And if you found this deep dive into automotive history meeting electric innovation as fascinating as we did, well, you know what to do. Consider subscribing for more explorations like this one.